How's it going, guys? I'm Frenzy. This is Mighty Quest, and today we're going to be doing our replay day from the replays from the live castle building episodes that I did. So about 4 days ago, I did them. I'll just scroll through. About here is where the replays start. I started off with a loss pretty early, so I was kind of questioning my defenses. But if we look up through, I actually won quite a bit. I think I lost twice. I lost a couple more times, but they didn't steal anything. I think twice is when I actually. There's another one, so maybe 3 times. And then there's one where I lost, but he took 9 minutes, 9 potions. I look at that as a win. And another one, 7 minutes, 7 potions. Didn't steal anything. And then there. So I lost 3 times. So I've already learned a few things from watching the people that beat me. And I want to show you guys kind of what I discovered. So when I'm watching replays of losses, I look for specific things now. Before, I would look for how did they get through my kill zones, right? Because a while ago I was just putting in 3 or 4 kill zones in my castle, and that's all I was relying on. But now I have kind of a mix of kill zones and time wasters, so that people, if they get through my kill zones, which the time wasters make them rush through the kill zones, which kill them more often. But if they do manage to get through, a lot of the time they won't have time to actually loot. So that's kind of the idea. So we're watching this guy who got through under the time and all of that sort of thing as a learning experience. And these are long replays, so I'm going to put them on ×2 speed. And what I look for basically is how long they take to get through each room. I like 50 seconds to a minute. I think 50 seconds to a minute in each room, and you have a good chance of making it so they won't make it through the boss area in time, basically. So that one was 50 seconds. If this one is a minute and 50 or something like that, I'm pretty happy. I believe this is going to end up being 2 minutes, which is great. I'm pretty happy about that. This is all one room still. We're in the second room of my dungeon right now. And we're already approaching the 1 minute mark for this room because the last room was 50 seconds. So this one's taking over his amount of time, and then bam. Okay, so about 2 minutes we're at, which is great. Alright, so we're looking for about, 250 to 3 minutes. Would be a pretty acceptable one. Alright, so this room's, alright, and he is done with this room. 30 seconds. So this was the problem with my castle, because 30 seconds is actually a lot of time, a substantial amount of time, for someone to get through a certain room of your castle. You don't want that. The lower levels, obviously, there's not as much you can do, but when you're up a little bit higher, if they take 30 seconds to get through a room, that's pretty bad. Alright, so this one, he actually does manage to get pulled and into the second aggro group. It takes a little bit longer. This room can kill you, but generally it won't. He's using potions and stuff like that, so unless they're stunned, they're not really going to die. So that room was, reasonable, about 45 to 50 seconds. That's a reasonable amount of time. This room, even though it only has 1 mob group in it, the mobs are so annoying for knights to deal with, it actually takes quite a bit of time. But this room, I wouldn't be surprised if it only took 30 seconds, because I don't have enough defense supply to actually fill it right now. And I had a fake mob down there that didn't actually pull anything, so it wastes a little bit of extra time. Okay, he actually dodges that pretty nicely. And, this room again, we're at we were at 4 minutes when he came in here. And, it's going to take him a good amount of time to get through here. Once they already take 30 seconds, I'm not even really watching the replay because I know what I need to change in my dungeon already. I mean, you can still watch through it and stuff like that, but if you notice, he's got 40 seconds and about 32 seconds. So if I knocked off those 30 seconds that he took, if I made that into a minute room, he would actually pretty much not make it. He might just barely make it. It's so close. He would probably make it with 1 second to spare. But that's a big area where I need to change. Alright, so let's look at another one. Let's look at this one. This guy actually attacked me a couple of times. Gave me a nice compliment, which is always great. So, Yeah, again, time to 2 speed, and we'll just watch through it. This guy was right at the, edge of the time frame as well. So a lot of these guys, if you can just push them over the time frame just a little bit by tweaking that one room, it should work out. So, 40 seconds, 45 seconds, that's a decent amount of time. Especially for only 2 mob groups. This one has 3 mob groups, so if this took 45 seconds, I might be like a little bit more worried about it. But you can already tell this is taking, 20 or 30 seconds just for that room specifically. This guy's smart and didn't attack the bad dog before the Pete Poundmore. That's what you're supposed to do in that scenario. A lot of people just kill the dog off. I don't know why. They don't do any real damage. Alright, so he's just about done with this room. 2 minutes. So again, really good. And now we're at this room at about 2 minutes. A little bit before. But for the sake of things, 2 minutes. Now this one, it's actually like working a little bit, how it's supposed to, but still, 2 minutes, and he killed off all the mobs, and it took him about 40 seconds, a little under 40 seconds. So again, that room could be changed to use more time. So basically I'm switching the room out, because you'll notice he just walks into the door and just straight down into this area. Like there's not much room for them actually to be walking around. As well as I believe my changed room is also the first mobs that you pull through the wall take a little bit longer to get to you, so that'll also help. He ends up getting hit by the mousetrap, which is better than getting pulled into these Stairmasters, I have to admit. It's just taking him an obscene amount of time to get through here, which is why he's like so close, even with saving all of that time from the other room. So he plays this out well. He attacked my castle a couple of times, so he already knew what this was. We'll actually watch a replay of him failing at the end. Alright, so again, we could have saved about 30 seconds. He's at a minute right now into the boss room. This boss room's a pretty big time waster as well. And 35 seconds, and it would have locked right there. But instead, even with 20 seconds, he's going to make it through. Alright, and then the last loss that we had, we'll watch this one. That was really tough. I believe he's right at the edge as well. So let's just watch the timing. I think you guys starting to get a feel for what my castle looks like, so I don't have to actually watch these little bits of parts, but again, 45 seconds, 50 seconds, really good. And we're looking for like a minute 50 to 2 minutes. We have a minute 50 already. Okay, great. We'll slow it down to ×2 for this one. Again, like 2 minutes. If I was really lazy and I just wanted to throw in a room that would take a lot of time, I would use my first room down here, that little curve on that, with the Stairmaster pull and the Pete Poundmore at the start. I could use the exact same thing, and it would take roughly a minute. But anyway, if you guys didn't notice that, it was about 30 to 40 seconds. So again, not enough time. But I'm trying something a little bit different. It's basically the same group of mobs, but it's a different room. And I think it should work a little bit better, but we'll see. It has to be tested. I haven't tested enough, and I like replays to really test those type of rooms. Because people are going to react differently than I will, because I know what's coming. So this room was at like 350. It only has one mob group, but it still takes a decent amount of time. With one mob group, you can expect that, though. 350, 30 seconds. I mean, it's not much, but... I just don't have enough defense points to actually put another mob group in this room. Or I'd probably put another Debaser pull, Stairmaster thing. So he's got about a minute right now. You can already see that if I would have added 30 seconds to his clock right here, he's not going to make it through. 15 seconds to do a boss room like this, not possible. And he's going to make it through with 10 seconds. So that would have been 2 out of the 3 people for sure would have lost if I saved 30 seconds. Alright, so let's talk about what I changed. So you guys remember the room before just kind of came down and turned. Okay, so that was just really quick, and these mobs didn't take nearly as long as they're going to take now. So it's the same basic setup. You have the, Scorpio with, pretty much nothing, and then you have the 2 Cyclopses and a pull into this room. Right, that's the idea. This guy pulls, he kind of hides back into here away from the fire, and then the Hungerbot comes in, pulls him into this group, and then he has to deal with 2 groups at once. It's the same setup, however they have to walk around here and then back in. So that should add at least 10 to 15 seconds, and then hopefully this mob group, if they wait for it, should add maybe 5 seconds. So we could probably see 20 to 25 seconds at least added to the clock, if not more, because there is an extra trap in here as well. And then there's the added possibility that they go down here. Because they'll see this here, maybe they'll think that it, goes down, and I just had this mob group here. Who knows what they'll think, but that's kind of what's going to happen. So everything else is the same. Let's watch one more replay of me winning, because I don't want to have all losses for this replay video. And where was that guy that I found before? This one right here, I think. Yeah, so this guy beat me, but he also attacked me before that. We'll watch the one before that. And we'll times 2 it. Until it gets to the good part, at least. That punt spell is really good against Pete Poundmore for any knights watching that are struggling with him. That, and then there's also a stun. I don't know exactly what the skill name is, but that's also pretty good. Anything to just kind of keep him from just constantly beating on you. And then archers, you just use a slow of some sort and then kite it for a little while. And mages, I have no idea what you do. I don't think Pete Poundmore's that big of an issue for mages, but it might be. I don't know. I think pulls are bigger issues. Like if you get pulled and you're a mage by some sort of a Hungerbot trap, you're pretty much dead. So I mean, we can watch the time as well, and it's about 2 minutes, which is great. He's went through 2 rooms of my dungeon. I'm happy with that. This one's not going to be enough time. Alright, so... yeah, I mean, that one wasn't as bad. I think it was like 40 seconds instead of 30, but I think my new setup should add a little bit more time to these people. It's good he's not targeting the bad dog until after Pete Poundmore's dead. Alright, and... instant death from the Stairmasters. These things are a knight's worst enemy right here. But he wants more. He's not done. He wants to see the rest of my castle. That's fine. Which, I mean, it works out for him. He did end up looting me, but... I like to watch people's first times as well. It's always good. And he gets caught by the big trap. And again, those Stairmasters, so much damage to knights. They have such high physical resistance, but their magic resistance isn't quite as good. Works well against archers too, but not quite as well against wizards, mages. And he gives up after that, after the 3rd death. So there you have it. Little bits of changes that I made to it, and I'll go through a lot more of these win replays in another video. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, if you'll notice, like a lot of 35 and 20 seconds, 41 seconds, 45 seconds. Every day when I wake up, like, this is filled with corpses, and I still have a ton of corpses that I need to loot. Like, they're all over in here, but I like to keep them. Makes my dungeon look, you know, more texture to the dungeon. Tombstones everywhere. Alright, so yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a like and a subscribe if you did, and I'll see you next time.